everybody, and welcome back to the Next Level Podcast with Dr. Leslie. I am your host. We have got another Q&A episode today. We just had so many questions coming in from fans and listeners. So we're just going to rattle them through. And no, this is not going to be a carnivore Q&A today. We sort of milked that. I will kind of come back to some of those because we still have some trailer questions about it. And it's very fascinating to everybody. But no, this is all about, good stuff, relationships, I think, right?
Yeah, it's because I'm having issues and I need your help.
Basically, my Q&As have become about Lana, my producer and engineer. She basically has her own podcast and is infiltrating mine too. She's getting free advice, basically, is what she's doing.
This is the way to do it.
It's the way to do it. Shoot.
I had a question. Basically, I was asking, what are some practical tips for maintaining a balanced and fulfilling romantic relationship?
This is a great question because I have a very strong opinion about this. Okay. Sex is really important in a relationship. Having great sex, having that passion, that intimacy. I mean, I know people think, well, maybe.
So sex is the answer.
Sex is a very big part of it. But people, the next question out of that is, well, how do I keep the passion and the desire alive so that I keep desiring my partner? There's a lot of people who feel that, humans aren't supposed to be monogamous and all the things, but we're also emotional beings, and that can be very challenging. And so that's a whole other discussion, and there's different opinions about that. It's harder for some people, easier for others. It's kind of maybe an individual decision. I'm not going to even go there and talk about my perspective on it necessarily. But for people who want to engage in any type of relationship, whether it's one or multiple or whatever, in that relationship, sex is incredibly important. So as a clinician, I always talked about sex with my clients for everything. Sexual health was like always on when we had any discussion that was emotional or relationship related, because people it's so taboo. They don't address it. They, skirt around it, and it's like, oh, well, that's kind of a big part of the issue.
Right.
So in terms of how do you keep the passion alive to keep the sex going? I mean, obviously you can get more adventurous in the bedroom and all those like classic type things, but I'm a big advocate of space. And that sounds counterintuitive. Why would I want space for my partner so that I can get close to them? And sex is the most intimate. Well, when you're so up each other's assholes, and I'm not talking literally, this is a figurative. I mean, although you might be literally, but when you're so up literally and figuratively each other's assholes all the time, you kind of can get tired of them and bored. Some research has said that there's pheromones. You get, used to each other's pheromones after a certain period of time or whatever. It's so important. I said when I divorced my ex-husband, I would never be in a passionless relationship again.
Good for you.
Because passion is everything.
Yes.
In the last Q&A, we talked about you have to be passionately passionate about your belief systems so that you can transform your life, because it all starts with your beliefs, right? But you have to be passionate about it. It has to be something that you do and you're committed to, because that is what is driving your entire life. So even in a relationship, you need to be passionate, not just about the relationship and making it better and excelling. It's about being also passionate about your partner. So to be passionate about keeping the passion alive, being passionate about having a great sex life, being passionate about keeping that relationship alive, sometimes means saying, I need to get the fuck out of your space and take some time and do my thing and not be all up in your asshole, figuratively and literally, so that I have a genuine desire and an appreciation for you, and maybe hijack that whole the pheromones are getting used to each other type of thing.
Ugh, yeah, because that's not good.
So
how do you, so if you live with somebody, say you're like you're in a relationship, like your husband and wife have kids and you're living together, how do you get space then?
That is a unfortunately fucked up situation.
Fuck marriage, bro.
No, it's a great question, one that I don't have an answer to. I'm not going to pretend I have all the answers because I haven't. I actually am very much questioning the way in which we are raising children. It is not natural
No, it's not.
to have a two-parent household and children, and those parents raise them. It is not normal. We slid into this very sneakily by our society, putting all this pressure on us, going from community-based raising children to two-parent to now fucking one. With all the divorce rates, like the guy leaves or the girl leaves or whatever,
Right.
and it's all on one. I mean, it is ferocious. It is not natural. You have two parents doing everything, rearing children and working. And when are they going to have time for exercise and sex and downtime? It doesn't exist. The whole concept of what you just said is completely fucked up.
Wow.
We need to go back to the community raising children. Look at what's happened. We went from the community where the grandparents raise the kids, and the grandparents love the children. So they have all the patience in the world and all the wisdom and all the things. And the parents went off and got food and worked and brought the resources to the family while the kids were raised by the grandparents, had all the patience. And they're like, oh, you're so cute. And you better not do that because when I was your age, that's sweet, right? And they can't, whatever. What's happened now is these two sad, unfortunate parents are being responsible for raising their children. And what they end up doing instead is giving them over to the system, and the schools are now raising the children. But the
Don't
two
do
parents are
that.
still having to do all the homework
housework.
and the housework and everything else. That is a fail.
You know what's so funny?
Just people in that immediately is a fail.
Yeah.
It will not work. You will either get divorced or you will be unhealthy. You will get cancer. You'll get sick. You will hate each other.
You'll drive yourself insane.
The passion will die.
Right.
The passion will die. There's no room for growth. I was so passionate about my own personal development since I was a little kid. So I kept growing despite all the crazy, I was in that type of situation. There were other reasons, misalignment. Like I grew, there was just things didn't align anymore. So
You
I was
grew
like,
a little faster than he did.
peace out.
I feel that.
So, but I was totally equipped to be able to do it. I was doing it, like doing the whole society pressure thing, but it was not healthy for me either.
Right.
But it's that I was able to keep the passion going. I could have spent more time apart, but the nature of how it was kind of, there's some dependency, there's some fear because I was growing, it was just, it didn't end up, I felt suffocated, and there are other things that happened. So I know that it's doable. My mindset was right. I just didn't have the right person to be able to, who understood that and allowed that and encouraged and was comfortable with it. So the first thing really is to make sure you pick the right person to be in a relationship with.
Good luck, Lana.
And for all those who didn't listen to the prior podcast, listen to that one because we talked a little bit about changing your belief systems to choose the right partner.
Right.
So first pick a good person that will grow and you have
to do that.
Yes, exactly. That's the first thing. And then you align on your concepts and understanding of passion and the importance of time apart, and that's going to bring you closer together, and the vulnerability and all those other things. Those are should be staples when you're choosing somebody. But no, sex 100%. Even in my marriage, we were having sex 2-3 days a week up until right before I decided, this no longer works because sex is important to me.
Yeah.
Even though I hated his guts, I'm like, I still need sex. I still want sex. We're still a couple, right?
Yeah.
It was, it allowed us to kind of still keep the momentum and the flow going in the relationship. And any last thread of hope that could have been, forged to keep the marriage together.
Yeah, I feel that.
But with that, there's those other pieces. So sex, but
to piggyback,
Yeah.
on what you said, because I was it's a little back. You'll get it in a second, but I was watching a YouTube video with my brother, and they said that somewhere in like Taiwan or Thailand, something like that. It was an Asian country or something, but they said that they leave their babies outside just to get sun. They leave the baby in a stroller, leave the baby outside just to get sun. And I'm talking like the parents walk away, the whole nine. There's like tree stumps that have a bunch of little strollers, babies parked, and no one touches the babies. My brother was like, what the fuck? What if someone steals the baby? What if someone kidnaps the kid? And I'm like, that's only an American thing?
Yeah, I mean, other cultures don't have the fucked up shit we have here.
Yeah. And
the community is like, it's like a watch.
Right.
It's a community.
Over there, even like in transportation, because there's like 8-year-old kids that are taking the subways by themselves, but it's like it's a norm over there because they literally believe in it takes a village to raise a child. Right. Reason being, because if I let my child go outside, it's everybody's responsibility. It's like an unwritten law.
That's right.
For everybody to take care of that one child. So if you leave your stroller right there next to a tree stump, you're just watching the baby.
Yeah.
You're not trying to steal the baby. You're just trying to watch the baby, and that's it. If anything happens, a baby cries, pick it up. If the baby falls over, put the baby back in the stroller and just leave him at the tree stump. Kind of deal. But everyone takes care of the baby. Right. In that sense, like you said, if everyone did that in America, I feel like if you were able to like let your children go outside safely, I feel like a lot of people would have better relationships because they're not so stressed out about their fucking kids. And like the simple fact that you have like you have to go to the park with your kid. You have to. And that's where you're trying to tire your kid out so that you can go home and go to sleep, or even like just to relax. You want to tire your kid out. So you take them to the park, but you have to sit there at the fucking park with your kid and waste your time. So in that sense, if America wasn't so fucking perverted and didn't have all these fucking pedos, we would actually be able to let our kids go to the park by themselves, tire themselves out. We be at home alone with your husband. You get the time alone where you're
exactly.
That actually makes so much sense. Like if America wasn't so corrupt, we would probably have a lot less of a divorce rate. Ooh.
I 100%.
Because people be fucking.
That's
fucking is important.
Exactly. They'll be relating. They'll be communicating. They won't be stressed out. They're not going to be like, I just got home from a fucking 9-to-5 job and Bill was a dickhole to me. And now I have to cook dinner and I'm getting my fucking, belly, or my ass is getting big. I can't go to the gym. The last thing I want to do is fuck. Like, I mean, it's a problem. The whole construct of these marriages and families are totally fucked up.
Yeah.
There's no way to have a healthy happy long-term relationship in the current structure. Then this is also why people are like, okay, well, then I'm going to make money so that I can have a nanny, and then they can take them to the park. And then you're killing yourself to try and get that promotion, do all the things in the late hours to get the money, it's just, you see the cycle. Well, then I can have, like I did that too. Well, we're going to put a park in our backyard, and we had all the things, and we had the nanny and all the stuff. And it's just, I mean, we still fit time in for sex, but my marriage still ended.
Yeah. Exactly.
Because there wasn't the time to communicate and talk about personal development. Like, again, it was a mismatch too.
Right.
I, accelerate, and I was doing those things. But again, it's just, we need so much more downtime to communicate and just be
right
by ourselves. Firstly, when is there any alone time in any of that schedule?
Right.
None. Then after I'm good, I've meditated or I'm decompressed, then time with my partner, who's next.
Right.
Because without your partner, there's no relationship, there's no family, the fucking kids, the family's broken.
Right.
After me and then my partner, then it's the kids.
Yeah. My mom told me the same thing. She said, my husband comes first, my kids come second. And
I say I come first. My partners and I are second.
Right.
Because if I'm not good, if I'm too overwhelmed, or if I'm, in my space, I need to get centered so I can be my best for my partner.
Right.
So it's, again,
And it says it like, I hate to throw religion in there, but it literally says it in the Bible. You put your husband first, your children second. And a lot of people are putting their children first and their husband second, but that's the reason why divorce happens, because
I have a lot to say about that, but I'm not going to say all of it.
shut up. Why?
Because there's so many women that I've seen in my years and years in clinical practice where they prioritize their children. And I'm
And
just
forget
like,
the husband.
it's like they only got married so they can have the babies. And they don't give a fuck about their guy.
That's so rude.
It's
I find that so.
It's
I'm like,
so weird. I've seen it many times, and I'm just like, they live for their children, and I'm like, it's good to want to be a mother. I love that, but you're a mother because of the man that you procreated with, and you got to do it together.
That's not cool.
But again, some people just have their motives. But it is absolutely has to be after you're good.
Yeah.
Then yes, the first person outside of you is your spouse.
And you know what's funny is that I kind of like thought of this. One of my friends who has been married, they're a couple. Their name is Shane and Stacy Sparks. Shout out Shane and Stacy. You would love them.
Okay.
You would love them. Either way, they're a married couple. They're porn stars, and they I asked them like not too long ago. I was like, how do you guys make your marriage work? Like you guys are literal best friends. Like how do you guys do that? And Shane, the guy, he was like, close the gap. And I was like, what do you mean by that? He was like, if there's a gap between you and your wife, close it. Touch her foot, touch her hand, just touch her shoulder, like cuddle with her, just sit next to her. Like that's all you need. Sometimes you can sit next to each other and like be in complete silence, but you just know that they're next to you. And sometimes that's affection. Like sometimes that's that little bit of affection of like, you're touching my foot. And it's like, why you touching my foot, motherfucker? Like, wait, you trying to start some kinky or something, you know? Or like even her, like she even says that her closing the gap is like, I'll just walk out of the shower in a thong. Like I'll do something that's like, hey, get your attention. But it's also like what Shane says is like, close the gap. Because if she's walking out of the shower in a thong, and she doesn't do that often, she's telling you something. And women aren't the type to tell you what the fuck they want. Like, they're not going to tell you, like, hey, you want to have sex? No. She's just going to walk out in a fucking thong. And then he's just like, you have to pick up on it, like, oh, what
right.
You know? So that close that gap was probably one of the best advices I've ever heard from a couple, at least.
Yeah, that's really great. And to be able to know firstly, that there is a gap.
Yeah.
And how to close it, there has to be communication.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to be able to then take that communication and then apply it.
Yeah.
And again, that is being passionate about your relationship. You have to give a fuck about your relationship. It's
you
one
need
to communicate.
Both people to be passionate.
Yes, exactly, which goes back to the choice of your partner, which is why I said I will never be in a passionless relationship. It doesn't just mean passion between the two. The person can't not be passionate.
Yeah.
The person has to be passionate about themselves, about their growth, about me, about the relationship, about sex. They need to be a passion-filled person and be able to express it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a difference between passion and, some people equate passion with like explosiveness and drama. No. Passion is just you want what you want and you want it. So you're going to do whatever it takes.
Right.
That's it. There's
Just
an intensity behind it and you will do whatever. And that is the other thing is along that note, well, I've had people say, well, I'm not a very passionate person or my mate isn't that passionate. Everybody can be passionate.
Every single person is passionate.
You can be. There's something that everyone is passionate about.
Yeah.
It's just they're choosing not to cultivate the passion in different areas. Like, it doesn't mean you have to be passionate about Star Wars if you don't like Star Wars. But if you really want to be in a relationship, you really want to be in a healthy relationship, that's really something that's important to you, then you can dig in and make it you can cultivate the passion. Just like, like I said in even the last episode, you want to be passionately passionate.
Yes.
About having passion.
Yes.
First. Yes. Not just passionate about your belief systems or about sex or about your partner. Be passionately passionate about passion, which means do whatever the fuck it takes to have passion about something.
Yeah.
figure it out. Figure it out. Figure out what you need to do to feel passionate and excited and bubbly about something. And if you really want that relationship, figure out what it is that you need to do to be passionate about that subject. True. And then when you start learning how you ignite passion in yourself, you've got the tools in your tool chest, and then you've become a passionate person. And then you just apply that to all of the things that you want to do in life. So that is like one of the big screening things that I think people should put on their list when they're talking with someone is how much passion does this person have?
True.
It's not just, drive or success, because people think that's the same thing. It's about passion. When they want something, do they go in and get it? And, how much are they willing to sacrifice? Like how deep does their passion run? How intense is it? And see if that matches yours. I think that's a really important thing for people to start considering, because I'm an incredibly passionate person, if you haven't noticed. It takes a very particular person to match me in my level of passion with everything, because
Your voice shows me how passionate you were over the weekend.
Oh my God, you're calling me out on my on my voice. It's true. I had such a great time. At the Tango Festival.
I know.
The music was loud, and I was talking and squealing, and I was also recovering from some allergies and had some drainage, postnasal drip, and the huffing and the puffing and this is my sexy voice. You're so funny. Whatever, Lana.
I'm dying. That was a great reference. Like
the postnasal drip. She liked that one, folks. Oh my God, we got a snort out of her too.
You did. Sorry. Okay.
Laughing with Lana, everybody.
Laughing
Check out her
with Lana.
podcast.
I'm always laughing, motherfuckers. Oh my God, that was a really good one. Hold on, let me see if I have another question.
Okay, she's verklempt. She has to pull herself together.
I know, I did, because I'm like.
Okay, next question, please.
Next question. Oh my God, let me see if I have something good. Let me see.
What do the listeners want to know?
I'm gonna edit this part out. Hold on, let me write it down. So you find it.
I'll just keep talking in my raspy 1-900 number voice.
I thought you were gonna say one night stand. Okay, I'm done. Okay,
you wish so many wonderful things for me. She's taken my weekend and made it such a exciting, a more adventurous weekend than it was. I love it.
In my head, it was like there's confetti in this bitch, okay? Like, what the fuck? There's confetti coming out of your asshole, your mouth, everything.
Oh my God. All right.
It's a circus in there. Okay.
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 Comedians for you,
I
folks.
swear. Sorry.
Don't have a comedian. Actually, yes, have a comedian as an engineer in your podcast. I highly recommend it. It's a hoot.
Okay, sorry. What are some key communication skills that will enhance both personal and professional relationships?
What was the first part?
What are some key communication skills that can enhance both personal and professional relationships?
Key communication skills. Listening is incredibly important. Not cutting off your person. It can be a little bit difficult for me.
Well, that's a good one. I do that.
I mean, the listening is tough sometimes because I know so much shit. so I like to believe, and it is true to a great extent. And I tend to know where people are going with their stories because I've been listening to people talk about their problems for decades. As an NP, as a coach, as a studying my own self like a caged monkey. I kind of have a lot of intuitive insights about where people are going. So I can struggle with that at times. I'm much, much better to keep my mouth shut and let them, because sometimes it's not even about what they're saying. They just need to get it out. Let them say it. So that's the biggest thing, I think, is good listening.
You know what's so funny is that I've noticed that when I'm upset and I kind of shut down, because I do that, I'll just shut down and I'll let the person talk and I'll just listen. I have noticed too many times that people will fucking tell on themselves when they do that. Right?
It's so true.
So true. You just sit there and just listen. They will keep talking to avoid that awkward silence to the point where they're just like talking and talking and talking. And then you're like, you just fucking told on yourself, bitch.
Yeah.
I have, yeah.
And so it's powerful in many, many ways because you're right. People get uncomfortable. If you're just staring and looking at them, they will just ramble and they will just say shit.
Yeah.
And it's very illuminating.
Very.
It's helpful for them because they want to feel heard. But yes, if it's a conflict where they might have made a mistake, then the truth comes out.
Yeah.
So it's like double powerful. So that is communication skill numero uno.
Right.
Dos, I would say, is try to be, well, you have to be as calm as freaking possible.
Ooh.
Because one of the relationships that I had, unfortunately, had ended because it got very intense. Not on my side. I don't like people who have to yell or raise or get really intense. It's unnecessary.
Mm-hmm.
And we can have adult conversations, grown-up conversations. I've had to talk with people, not in argument style, but about difficult situations, how to problem solve things that are literally life-changing. Like when you have to talk with someone who just got diagnosed with HIV or cancer that's not curable, and they're losing their shit and they're wanting to blame everybody, including you, and they're going to sue and all. You have to learn to listen, have compassion, and help them calm down or have a calm conversation because no problems can be solved. And in fact, they're very damaging. And I ended an entire relationship of this person I loved so much and still do have so much love for because the communication was very, very deeply unhealthy and one that I chose not to participate in.
Right.
There were multiple times, there were opportunities to change and grow. So being able to share your problem or concern in a very calm, non-confrontational, blaming way. So I like to use the word I. This is something we learned in like the first semester of nursing school way back a gazillion years ago. I feel that, you don't want to say you, right? I'm feeling that, blah, blah, blah. When I'm feeling attacked when you say such and such, I feel my experiences, I don't like this, right? So that's another way to kind of keep from escalating. And I just will, this is kind of a side thing, but you just disengage if someone is yelling. I literally, it was a friend of mine's boyfriend kind of lost his shit and I was in the line of fire because I guess she was nitpicking at him all fucking day. And I said one little tiny thing. It was really nothing. And he lost his shit. I have not been yelled at basically a stranger ever in my life. It was a very fascinating experience for me.
I love you.
And I just was like, I literally was like a dog. I looked at him sideways and I was just like, the funniest thing is because my girlfriend was looking at me and I literally, she goes, this is what you did. This? I don't do this. And I just turned around and walked away. And that's what I did. I'm like, this, no. I don't do that.
I'm weak.
And I just walked off because it's true. I will not engage. I will not allow someone to think that they can just, for something that's irrational and I knew had nothing to do with me. And I'm like, no. Let's try that one again. So it's really important to have a good tone when you're communicating with somebody.
That's so funny. One of my exes, he was he loved to yell at me. And one of my favorite things was like I used to be like, why are you yelling?
Yeah, what did he say?
He it would always calm him down. It always worked well. I'm not yelling. I'm like, I'm not yelling. You're yelling. No, it's because babe, it's because this and this and that. And then I'm like,
you call him out.
Yeah, you just like, why are you yelling?
That's good to diffuse it because sometimes people don't. Their neural pathways are so ingrained because they've witnessed it when they were kids, their parents yelling.
Yeah.
They don't even know when they're escalating. They don't. They're just like, when you and I get and you're just like, oh my, what the hell just happened? Like we went from 0 to 9,000 in like 2.4 milliseconds. And yeah, you're right. It's a neuro thing. So bringing your pattern interrupting.
Yeah.
So that would be a really good communication skill. Not like, I mean, we're troubleshooting communication skills. These are
Yeah.
not healthy baselines. But no, that's a really great suggestion. You know, when someone is escalating, you want to hijack their emotional state.
Yeah.
And in all coaching, that's what you do. You just want to intersect. You can say something very kind like that. I know Tony Robbins used like very dramatic ways to like get someone out of state. Like he's been known to say something, well, do you think he's upset because you didn't give him a blowjob? And it just takes them out of their anger and like it gets them into this funny place so that they can then start thinking in a different way. You're intersecting or hijacking their emotional state. So that's a very great suggestion, actually, Lana, is to just, why are you yelling?
Yeah. It's funny because that's like there was a psychology experiment that we had to do in college where they said if you ask somebody why are they breathing heavy, no matter what, they always answer, even if they're not breathing heavy. They'll be like, why are you breathing so heavy? And they're just like, oh, it's because I just came from outside. Like, what are you talking about? They always answer why they're breathing heavy.
Oh, it's like a reflexive, like to rationalize or reason?
Yeah, it was just a psychology experiment in college, and it's funny because I'm like, it works when people are acting crazy, like if people are acting, if people are loud, it's like, why are you being loud? Calm it down. Like, why are you yelling?
And then they go,
and then they're like, I'm not yelling.
I'm not being loud.
But it fucking works. Yes. It's funny, huh?
Yeah, it's the power of the mind.
Like,
I guess psychology.
Like, why are you being so crazy? I'm not being crazy. Like, right. All of a sudden they want to, like
the knife comes down.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Right? The shank all of a sudden goes back in the pocket. You're like, wait, what? What do you mean? No, I'm not. We outed you.
Oh, that's great. That's a good one.
Yes. So let's see. Before we wrap up, right? We're getting close. Another communication skill. I think that's really important. So we said listening. We said
body language.
Yeah, that's a good one. I mean,
body language says a lot, especially even if you're talking to like, you see? You see?
The people listening can't see what my body language is saying right now.
Wait. See, there's angles, girl.
Actually, it's really funny. I have a good example of that. Okay. Body language is very powerful. When I was working in the mental health, I was working in psychiatry as a nurse practitioner.
Ooh. And
I was seeing like a lot of really mentally ill people. And one of these guys came in. I think he had bipolar, if I remember, or schizoaffective or whatever. And he sits down on the couch across from me, right? And I kind of knew how to relate. You need to relate and build rapport. And I was finishing my doctoral degree. And he sits down and he's like, so you're my new quack, huh? So you're gonna give me some pills I'm not taking any fucking psych pills, all they do is they make me too calm and I can't think properly. And, I like being, and so, he was sitting there like this, all hunched, right? And so slowly in my chair, I start matching his body language. So I start slouching down and crossing my arms and getting leaning forward and talking, matching my language to him.
Right.
He's talking abruptly and one-word answers or whatever. And so I started matching him, like, just in the way that I communicated. And after, like, 5 minutes, I'm like, well, I don't want to put you on medication if, you don't want it. If you don't want to. But, I mean, you're going to be out there, you're going to commit another crime. You're going to be back in the clink or whatever it is I said. And I said, so, I mean, what happens to you doesn't matter to me. It's your life. Right. It was sort of like
you matched his energy,
right? So, and it was something a technique that I was learning. It was very, maybe not traditional, but it was some research that was kind of coming out. And when he felt like I wasn't trying to push him into a certain medication, and that I was basically just like, he didn't want it. He was making a point of saying, I don't care about you, and you're nothing, and you're just I was just like, well, you're just a patient. Like, what happens to you is your responsibility. I'm here to help. If you don't want my help, that's fine.
Bye.
And when I didn't push him and I allowed him to be him and I matched him with the intensity and the like, it's okay. And he felt comfortable because I was relating. At the end, he's like, okay, fine, I'll give your shit a try. What are you going to give me? I swear to God. He left there with a fucking prescriptions and he filled those goddamn things. Power of body language.
Power of body
and
language.
Matching.
Right.
Now, matching doesn't always work. Like if someone's angry, you don't want to be super angry, obviously. But that was a very particular situation when you're trying to build rapport and to get someone who's resistant to kind of loosen up. This is a very particular situation. But yes, body language when your partner is hurting or whatever, you know, you want to not stand aggressively and open. You want to be kind of sideways with your hands forward and relaxed. There are techniques that you can use that make the impression that you are compassionate and you're willing to listen.
Right.
So that is a good one. Be cognizant. And also not having a resting bitch face, because there's some people that you talk to that just look angry all the time.
Me.
They need to go get Botox.
My concerned look. Me. My concerned look looks like I'm dogging you out. Because like if someone's like telling me like an interesting story and I'm trying to like focus, like I'm always like this.
Like you're confused.
I look mad.
Like judgy. That was
very
a judgy face.
That's my.
Okay,
I swear I'm like genuinely
honey,
into this.
I got a solution. I'm gonna Botox your face so
Let's
good.
go. I've been asking
you will not
you.
be able to move a fucking muscle, and you're gonna have the most angelic, compassionate face ever.
Dr. Leslie fans, please spam her DMs and spam her comments to give me that Botox because it's bad.
Oh my God, we're doing a GoFund Lana's Botox through my podcast.
Yeah.
It's all about her. It's not the Next Level podcast with Dr. Leslie. It's the Next Level podcast with Lana. Oh my God. All right.
Next level. The next level is laughing with Lana.
Next
Oh,
level.
that's funny.
Oh my God.
Sorry.
She's
Okay.
everywhere.
I'm done.
No, I love it. I love it. I think that's a wrap, huh?
Yes, it is,
All
mommy.
right. We got some good ones again today. I hope that helped everybody. I love you all. Mwah, mwah. Until next time.